Listen.
In everything that we do in all 9 areas of activity. And what are the 9 areas of activity? Economics, how you use your time and energy. How do black people, for the most part, use their time and energy when the white supremacists are not making us do something in order to eat and sleep somewhat comfortably? How do we usually use our time and energy when we have what we call a day off, all right, or hours off, or some minutes to ourselves, as you might say? Just look at what we do. Look at what most black people in the northwestern hemisphere do, and I think in many parts of the world, when they have what you call leisure time, time to yourself, time to do a limited number of things that you're allowed to do in the prison yard of the system of white supremacy. What we do is show off to each other. And how do the white supremacists control that? Simply by having our minds set in doing just that. We look forward all of our days, everything that we do, if we stop and think about it and tell the truth about it. What black people in the northwestern hemisphere do, as far back as I can remember, is looking forward to showing off to other black people. We're going to buy something to show off. We're all in the department stores and whatnot. I mean, everything from a fancy department store, where they have real fancy clothes and jewelry and whatever, and and what the latest styles are and whatnot. What are you getting that for? What are you knocking yourself out, making all those payments for? To show off. To show off to whom? Just stand in the mirror all day and look at yourself? No. You want to show off. You want to strut around in front of somebody. Who is this somebody you want to strut around in front of? Tell the truth now. It is other people that look like you. Because white people are not paying no attention to you at all anyway. They don't even want to see you. Get the heck out of here. I don't even want to see you. Except when I call you to do some work for me. And other than that, bye. And what you got on and what you're driving and all like that means absolutely nothing to me. Just get out of my sight. That's the white supremacist philosophy, okay? Mm-hmm. Until I call you to do something for me. Now you can come around, okay? So what does that leave non-white people to do? Strut around showing off to each other. And if you can't find something to buy to show off, or you can't stand in the middle of the sidewalk, and show off by jumping up and down and turning flips, all right, then you do something like what? Young black people spend a lot of time doing what? Riding around, shooting guns. Now, you might not look at that as showing off, but that's exactly what it is. If you tell the truth, if you will tell the truth to them, and they'll tell the truth to themselves, they're saying, this is mostly what that's about. What is gangs about? Showing off. Showing off to whom? To other people that look like you that is in the other gang. That's it. And you show off by doing what? By shooting guns at them. Hey, there you go. He ain't wearing the colors. Shoot him. And then he shoot back at me. I shoot back at him. But what is it all about? What are you getting out of it? Since every time you fire a bullet, it ain't like somebody's paying you. It ain't like you're going to get a mansion or something. It ain't like you're going to do 2 or 3 years of this and then retire somewhere in some chateau in France. So what are you doing it for? Showing off. Dismal, pitiful, showing off. Because everything that black people do that's connected with that little pitiful showing off, our little parties and whatnot, our barbecues, showing off, showing off, showing off, showing off. And when you fall down exhausted from showing off, what have you got in return for your showing off? absolutely nothing but a cocaine high. When I say cocaine high, even if you're not on drugs, showing off is a drug because there's no return on your investment. None. You just think that it is. And we got to stop doing it. The code says stop doing anything to show off. Don't show off to nobody because you ain't qualified to show off. It's because, see, it's just one religion that really counts, and that is the religion of white supremacy. All of the other people are attempting to practice their religion. Most people who have a religion are very, very sincere. And they prove it by their actions and whatnot, up until the time that the white supremacists step forward and say, well, now, you can practice this part of your religion. If you want to have a picnic or something like that, I don't mind that. If you want to clap your hands or you want to sing and whatnot, I don't mind that. Just help yourself. That's not bad for my business. But if I want to kill people and all like that, you better not start saying, thou shalt not kill, and then start interfering with me while I'm doing my, or I will kill you. And they have proven that they will do that. And people fear that. And they let people know. Now, you can have as many gods as you want. But when I tell you to do something, you better jump like I'm your God. Because for all practical purposes, I am. Now, you might have a God in heaven, but I'm the one who rules you on this planet. So you can sing about after you're dead all you want to. Just don't mess with me while we're both walking around on the same planet. Because this is my planet. You don't own none of it. And you don't have anybody anywhere in the spiritual world or the material world that can help you when I get on your case. And most people, so far, have backed down when the voice of the white supremacists comes into the picture. And some of them haven't backed down. And most of them who didn't back down are dead. Now, if you so-called men, you black males who want to go from boy to man, if you keep insisting on that, I'll make a deal with you. I will not allow you to ever be a man. Because there's only one man in this house. The house being the entire world. And that man is white. Okay? But if you black boys want to go from boyhood to manhood, I'm not going to let you. But I'll tell you, I'll make a deal. Tell you what I'm going to do. You can go from boy to woman.
Oh, no.
Now, if you put on a dress and start switching around like your sisters, and I'll have most of you raised up in a house full of nothing but females, so you'll learn how to put on the clothes and the lipstick and all of that. I mean, so sit there and watch your mother and your sister get dressed. You get dressed right alongside of them. I'll have maybe about 4 or 5 generations of you doing that. So you'll be real comfortable in walking behind your mothers and sisters looking just like them, acting just like them, twisting just like them, looking for a boyfriend like them, because that's what you hear them talking about on the phone. My boyfriend, my boyfriend, my boyfriend. All right? And so you'll be looking for some fella, a male, to come and pick you up and take you for a ride in your new high heels that you borrowed from your sister.
Oh, wow.
And you are a male. The white supremacists are very scientific in what they do. So they got a lot of us hooked at an early age. And, we already know about the choirs in the church and all like that, see, and what all that's about. So they finance all of this. They support all of this. A couple of young white guys will move into the neighborhood, you might say, move across the street, right across from a black church. And they, they move in and they are, collegiate types. And they come over to the black church and they say, we would like to help you with your youth program. All right? And they got the money. I mean, and they know how to do things. They have talent. They come in there and they say, well, the way you're running your church, I mean, it's not fostering anything, I mean, that you're going to not have growth here. Well, we can start keeping your books, and show you how to grow your church. And this lawn that you got out here, it's not well kept. I'm a horticulturist, and me and my buddy here, we can come over on weekends, and we can make this lawn, look really outstanding. When people come through the neighborhood, they will be amazed at how wonderful this place looks, because it's kind of run down, see? And they will volunteer, They say, we're trying to help the community. We moved in here, and we want to help. And see, and then they get in charge of the little boys program. So you want to know why your son is acting the way that he is when he comes home. He's beginning to act peculiarly. That's because these two white supremacists, which is what they are, when they do this type of thing, have infiltrated you right under your nose. Rather than use the term white supremacy, use the term white aggression. Okay, put that on the board. Erase the term white supremacy, put white aggression on the board. Does that change the circumstances? I have found that it doesn't. You can switch words around and play with words all you want to. I say that to people based on logic. But if the situation is the same, what does supreme means? Why are you afraid of it? Anything can be supreme, if you let it, and we let the system of white supremacy exist, simply because we think we can wish it away. We don't make any effort to replace it with a better system, and that better system would be the system of justice, logically speaking. They say, yeah, but, you're giving, those white aggressors, they ain't nothing. You're giving them too much credit. I'm not giving them anything other than what the rest of us are giving. I'm giving them what I'm giving them, and that is what they demand that they want. Now, if that ain't supreme, I don't know what is. I do what they tell me to do. That's supreme, folks. I don't tell them what to do. They tell me what to do. I'm a prisoner of war. I was born in a prison. Every non-white person who is existing now, truth be told, is a prisoner of the system of white supremacy. That's why we are protesting how we are being treated. They are not protesting how they are being treated by us. That's supreme. That's what supreme means. It doesn't mean you're good. See, people get the two words mixed up. Words are very important. If you say white aggression, yes, it's white aggression. That's how they got to be supreme. They were very aggressive in becoming supreme. They say we're going to take over the non-white people of this world, black, brown, red, and yellow, and having them begging us about whether or not they'll be able to eat tomorrow or today or sleep tonight, because we can kill them anytime we want to, all of them. And they can't kill us anytime they want to kill us, because a lot of them might want to kill us right now, but they don't have the know-how, and they ain't got the muscle. All right, just like, in the Corleones, if you want to use the Godfather movie as an example. Hey, who has the muscle? Who has the muscle? Well, if we had it, then they wouldn't be treating us like this. This is the kind of thinking that gets black people in trouble when they jump out of a car when they are being pulled over, and an armed person walks up to them, and that person has a white face who may or may not be a racist, and all of a sudden, woof, 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 woof. Black people have, a lot of us have these big, heavy voices. A lot of us been lifting weights and all like that, and we got a lot of muscle in our bodies, but not a whole lot of muscle, the record has shown, in our brains, all right? We are not known to be the most brainiest people in the world. Truth be told, and the white supremacists know that because they have seen to it that we haven't learned very much in the little time that we have been under their tutelage, because they block us from learning. But we walk around trying to make ourselves believe that we know everything, and that does not pay off very well, particularly when we start trying to express it in the form of counter-aggression against the aggressor. Like I said, many of us, and I've seen it, and some of us have experienced it, jumping out of the car, woof, 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 woof. You ain't gonna put them cuffs on me. I mean, I got my rights. I know what my rights are. I'm tired of this. Woof, 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 woof. Okay, all right, woof, woof, woof. And what has the record shown? That most of us who do that wind up out of this world within the next 2 or 3 seconds, and everybody that's supposed to be our homies, our kin folks, our friends, people who are fighting for our rights and all like that, out there with signs and balloons and candles and teddy bears for the 10 millionth time saying, woe is me, this has got to stop, we can't have no more of this. But it all started with that being unrealistic, with woof, 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 woof. I know my rights. You can't do this to me. Oh, hey, boy, I can't do this to you when I have been doing it to everybody that looks like you, and my foreparents before me been doing it to everybody that looks like you, like forever in recorded history, and you bang, 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 bang. Okay, now what do you say about what I can't do to you, boy? Huh? Can you speak? Hey, you're lying here on this highway. Speak up, boy. Hey, can't you tell me all about how you did, who you could whip in the cell block? All right, where you spent most of your time before you got in my face? Tell me all about it, boy, with them 15 bullets I just put in you. Tell me all about how you built the pyramids. And then while your buddy's waiting down the highway for me to go down there and do the same thing to him. You people never wake up and smell the coffee. Smell white supremacy. How about that smell? It has to be a quantum number, though. It has to be a quantum number. In other words, a large number of non-white people, period. Not only a black male, but black females, too. In other words, people who understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works. That's the first order of business. You have to understand that the entire world is dominated by the white supremacists. And if you have color in your skin, you are a person who has been assigned to be mistreated because of your color, because of the way you were born, because of the way that the creator of you, if you are a person of color, a non-white person, the creator put color in your skin. And the white supremacists are saying, well, regardless of who did it, it means you are eligible to be mistreated by me because I'm a white person and you are not white. So I have the power and the authority and the privilege and all of everything that's supposed to be of benefit is supposed to be around me. And you are only supposed to get what I say you can have because you have color in your skin. Now, the non-white people who understand that this is the setup and this is the dominant government of the entire planet, then the white supremacists will understand that you understand this, and if enough people understand it, people can't go. It's something about the mind that says you don't go against something that, you can't ignore something that you understand, particularly when it's working against you. That'll keep bothering you until you'll have a tendency to do something about it. Now, that's what the white supremacists do not want. They do not want black people to be logical. They do not want black people to think about anything except something that's real silly and real stupid. This is why they always glorify stupidity in black people. If a black person has a tendency to show stupidity, or silliness, that black person, the white supremacists immediately will seize upon them and say, this person doesn't show any signs of being serious about anything. So these are the black people that we want to become more and more prominent. And we will feed into their silliness. Anything stupid that they come up with, or we come up with for them, we will glorify it, as long as it's stupid and silly. Anything that's serious and constructive, we don't want them to be logical. We don't want them to tap into that. That's not the way we want any people of color to ever think. We want them to be celebratory people, the people who are jumping up and down and turning flips all day and running around in a circle. And then when they bump into each other, I mean, they immediately start fighting each other. That's the way we want to keep them. But if they're sitting down and slowly thinking things through and trying to be problem solvers rather than problem makers, no, we don't want those type of non-white people to get out from under our surveillance. You watch them very closely. It's like that dangerous black person on the plantation who's always going around trying to read something or trying to figure things out, asking questions, trying to figure out how the plantation is run. That is a dangerous Negro on this plantation. Sell him down the river or give him a good whipping and stop him from being curious about serious things. Keep him in the silly mode. That is the category that black people are always supposed to be in, the silly mode, the destructive mode. Don't let them think about anything serious, because then they become a danger. Don't do anything, first of all, to attract the attention. You have to be like a soldier on a battlefield. If you're a soldier on a battlefield, because that's where you are. We are all on a battlefield. We are on a battlefield. We're not in La La Land. This is not Oz. This is not Shangri-La. We are on a battlefield. And when you look up and you see anybody who might be a suspected race soldier, even 6 blocks away, have your antenna up to not attract attention, just like you would on a battlefield. You're wearing a uniform. Your uniform is your black skin. And you're not going to attract the attention of a sniper. I mean, you know, there's an enemy soldier over there in the bushes somewhere waiting on somebody like you to come along. Look at it just that way. Yes. Don't do anything to attract attention, because that sniper is going to do what a sniper does. If anybody's been in the Army or seen movies about the Army, a sniper does what a sniper does. He takes your head off.
Yes.
No question. So you got to think like that. You are walking down the street with your black skin, you might attract the attention of a sniper.
Yes.
Think that way, 24/7, all your life. That's going to happen. And when it happens again, it's going to happen again. I don't care how many demonstrations you have or how many filling stations you burn down. It's going to continue to happen. What you do, you cannot attract that kind of attention. Mothers have to teach their offspring. We're in a war. We are in a war. If you don't know where you are, you're in a war. You're in a war. Anybody spotted with a gun in a war is subject to die instantly, or with anything that looks like a gun. Period. Christmas morning, I mean, you got cap guns and whatnot under the Christmas tree. You go outside with one of those guns and whatnot, you're subject to die. Every mother has to understand that. Every father. Otherwise, you're just going to keep crying over these funerals. You have to understand the kind of world you're in. You can't be nonchalant about that. Yes, you're not in Oz. You're in a hostile world. You're surrounded by hostility. You always wake up every morning knowing that you're in a war. That's the first order of business. We're not in peacetime. There's no such thing as that. We're in the middle of a war that never has been stopped. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as peace being declared. People declare peace, but I'm talking about in a functional sense.
Yes, sir.
In reality, ever since the beginning of white supremacy, which is what I call the war, That's the only war that really counts. That's the war, that's the umbrella war of the entire planet. It's never stopped since the day that it was established. And everything that happens in a war is just a battle. And so the battles, the different battles are going on in different fronts. I mean, Ferguson and this and that, but the battles happen every day.
Right.
Every time there's an encounter of conflict between one white person and a non-white person.
Yes.
Every encounter is a part of the war.
Yes, sir.
In fact, even the most, what you might call bland or peaceful encounters, it's an encounter because there's a war going on between white and non-white.
Yes, sir.
Worldwide.
Yes, sir.
It's never stopped.
Never.
I mean, and people say, well, I work with white people every day. We get along fine and all like that. You're in a war, whether you know it or not, because the white supremacists who are running everything have never said that we are declaring a peace. We are continuing the system of white supremacy. So just because there are individual people who are smiling and laughing and joking and whatnot, and they're going to football games together and waving pennants and all like that, doesn't say that there's not a war going on that is never stopped. So what we need is codification to wrap this war up. It's got to be accelerated, and that's what I try to write with my book, the textbook for victims of white supremacy. We have to accelerate the pace in ridding the world of racism and replacing it with a world of justice. And I can understand it because we've been held back so long and beaten down so much. I mean, just when we make just a few baby steps or just crawl up to, just being able to crawl across the living room floor, I mean, we are just so proud because we have had so little to be proud of. But that's no reason to not be mathematical. Whatever created the universe wants us to tap into the logic that comes with the universe. And then we can just zip ahead. I mean, we can step lively. I mean, not slogging along and struggling and dragging. I mean, like it's going to take us forever just to go from the front door to the back door of a house. I mean, when the whole world is on the move, going all over the universe, and we can't even get to the bus stop without saying that's a real chore. I mean, and people just look at us and say, what kind of example is that for anybody to follow? We don't even want to pay attention to each other because we're such poor examples. And poor examples come from just what? Poor thinking. Everything starts with a thought. Our thoughts are too small, much too small. I mean, just trying to impress each other and do nothing else in life but, well, I impressed about, 15 or 20 black people, sometime this year, my buddies, and they feel proud of me, and boy, do I feel good. When the white supremacists look at that and say, have you been to the bottom of the ocean? Do you know what's there? Well, I have. Do you go into outer space and back? Well, I have. Do you know where everything is under a place called the Congo? All of the minerals there? Well, I do. And I haven't even gotten started. And you are bragging about something that you bought or stole in a store, in a hood, and walking around with some shoes on with some white person's name on it and bragging about what you got. And you think that that is the end of life, that you have now done everything that there is to do in life on account of you got some $600 shoes that you never had on before. Now, that is the literal definition in the minds of the white supremacists of the N-word. That's what that is that you're looking at. That's what you call that type of thinking. And every white person looking at his offspring is his white child will say it. And that is what you don't ever want to be, is one of those creatures that walk around thinking like that. You don't ever want to think at that level. And they are telling their offspring that when they're about 6 years old. So when they get to be about 30, they are taking the place of their elders and running the entire universe like they have continued to do like forever. But I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about the white supremacists, whom black people right this minute all over the world are trying to say, I got to get out of here and find out which way the white people went so I can be around some people that got some sense. Because I can't stand being around these people that I was raised up with, because we ain't about nothing and ain't trying to be about nothing except just feeding off of each other and then getting mad about that. Can't stand ourselves and can't stand nobody that looks like us, truth be told. So which way did the white folks go? If I'm in Congo, which way did the white folks go? If I'm in Southside Chicago, which way did the white folks go? If I'm in Compton, which way did the white folks go? Well, why are you asking that? Because I can't stand this insanity here, that's why. Well, it's insane over there, yeah, but it's still better than here because there ain't no other place to go that makes sense. I ain't going where no more black people are because I know that they're not going to make sense in nothing that they do. You don't see black people clamoring to go nowhere on this planet where there are other black people, except where those black people, those other black people, are in contact with some white people who know how to get things done in an orchestrated, codified manner. Because that's the only places where anything is happening, truth be told. But it's the white supremacists' fault, because they set it up like that. But we shouldn't keep falling for it and pretending like it's not true. That's why I'm going to keep saying what I say. White supremacy. And don't dress it up, because it's the truth. They supreme. Well then, all right, if they're not supreme, who is? Well, black people built the pyramids. That's not what I asked. I asked, who is supreme over you right now? There ain't nobody supreme over me with my God. Oh, okay. Well, what does your God tell you what to do? I go into the question mode now. And that's how you handle religion, too. Just go into question mode. The minute a person says that God is their leader, you keep asking questions. And then after they answer the questions, don't argue. Don't ever argue with a person about religion. Get back to that barbershop now, where religion is talked about all the time. Don't ever argue about religion. Just ask questions about that person's religion. And then when that person gets through talking about how much they believe in their religion, then watch and see what they do when the white supremacists come around. That's the test about who their God is. If you don't have to say nothing. Just watch what they do when the white supremacists come around and say, I don't like what you're doing. And well, what I'm doing is according to my religion. You going to tell me with your black self, and I'm a white person in the system of white supremacy, and with your black self, you're going to tell me about religion and what your religion tells you to do, and I just told you to do something that's just the opposite? Oh, now it's testing time now. And every black person on the planet understands that. And Neely Fuller don't have to say nothing. I just stand back and watch. You can't be in a poisonous system, and the government of the world is the system of white supremacy. That's the only real government of the entire planet called Earth. And it's a system that's designed to mistreat people through deception and through direct violence. Now, deception, which causes confusion, is indirect violence. Anytime somebody's trying to fool you in order to harm you, I mean, it's not like playing little child games or something like that, but they're fooling you with the intention of doing harm to you, where you're going to lose something, including maybe your entire existence. Then that is a form of violence. A person fools you. Give an example. A person knows that that bridge that you're fixing to cross is weak, too weak for your vehicle, because the person has made the bridge weak. They went out in the middle of the night and did things to the bridge to make it weak, so that the bridge will not stand the weight of your vehicle.
Yes.
So you come along early in the morning, happy, cheerful, going on vacation, and you're going to cross that bridge. And the person who made the bridge weak in the middle of the night comes out, gasses up your car, whatnot, and looks at you with a smile, knowing full well what is going to happen when you cross that bridge. Now, the white supremacist, that's deception.
Yes.
All right? He tells you that, hey, the bridge is open, and it's a brand new bridge, and you'll enjoy your trip, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, knowing full well the weight of your vehicle is not going to get you across that bridge, and that you and your vehicle and your entire family and whatnot, what you call your family, is going to fall into the water.
Yes, sir.
Now, the racists know that. They are good at that type of thing. They do it all over the world all the time. Set you up for failure in all areas of activity. So that's just one. Okay? So you go waving, smiling, driving across the bridge. And the white supremacist and his white supremacist associates, they look at each other and wink and say, watch this. And the bridge falls and you perish. And that's what they call fun.
Yes.
That's the white supremacist mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they will help set you up. I mean, you know, on the surface, it looks like they're doing you great favors.
Yeah.
They're great at that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And that's in every area of activity.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, in economics, they do the same thing. In economics, set you up. And you think that you're going to be sailing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're going on, you know, hey, this is going to... Oh, but see, you don't see what's coming around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
In education, same thing. We are educating you people. Come into our schools, and we're going to teach you this and teach you that. All right? You got to be able to you should go, because you don't have any options anyway. All right? Because they are going to teach you a lot of things that are very useful. But along with that, they're going to do what? That's where the poison comes in.
That's where the poison comes in.
See, when they're teaching you something,
mm-hmm.
they're going to put a little bit of poison in it. In economics, when they're giving you something, a stack of money, somewhere in that, they got some cyanide or something between the stacks.
Yes.
All right? It's poison in everything that they approach you with. Economics, education, entertainment. Oh, you want to be a black entertainer. Oh, okay. You come on in. They dress you up, and they just say, how much money do you want? You know, you're going to make this movie, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. See, but at the same time, they're going to put just a little bit. They don't have to put much, because poison has a way of doing what? Spreading. All right? So in everything that they got all glitzy and very attractive and all painted up and all suited up and extravaganzas all over the place and whatnot, they put just a little bit of poison in there, and you don't even notice it, but that poison begins to spread. And the next thing you know, what you started out to be a festive occasion mm-hmm. is going to turn out to be a total disaster. Somewhere down the road. And that's in every area of activity.
Right.
You've got to understand the system of white supremacy, what it is, and how it
works.
See, direct violence is when they just walk up and shoot you in the head.
Okay, boom, yeah. Okay.
That's a done deal.
Yeah.
That doesn't call for a whole lot of explanation. You don't scratch your head about that trying to figure out what that's about.
Okay.
You're dead. That's what that's about.
Gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, the other is, and that's the one that they really like, because they can stretch it out and whatnot and enjoy it more. When they kill you, you're just dead. They're just dealing with a dead body now. That's over right now. But when they can confuse you over decades, just keep confusing you, having you doing stupid stuff and you don't know how stupid it is, okay? And they're just laughing all the way at your stupidity, at our stupidity.
Yes, sir.
At my stupidity, at all black people's stupidity, because we're supposed to be stupid forever, okay? And how do you keep people stupid forever? Having them doing stupid things and think that they're doing something great. And they do that through confusion. By telling you that it's great. Anything stupid that a black person does, the white supremacists will walk up and say, keep it up, all right? And stupidity to your detriment. You're actually harming nobody but yourself and other black people, all right? Mass stupidity. So they'll help you do that in all areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Anything that they see a black person has a talent for doing or has a proclivity, a desire to do.
Yes, sir.
They'll look at it and they'll help you do it as long as they can figure out a way to make it non-constructive. All right? That's the thing to watch for. It's what you're doing. Is it constructive or is it non-constructive? And you should ask yourself, if it's constructive, how is it constructive? What does it actually produce that has a constructive effect? Stay in that question mode and ask yourself these questions as you go along doing whatever it is you're doing. Is this constructive? And if it is constructive, how is it constructive?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right? You should ask yourself that question all day long, every day, regardless of what you're doing. Ask yourself, this thing that I'm doing, is it constructive? Or is it non-constructive? Because there's no such thing as in between. Every move that every creature makes, birds, bees, people, alligators, is going to have a constructive effect or a non-constructive effect on something or somebody. What they are saying is, you black people are my prisoners. You are my slaves. You have never gotten out of slavery because you're under the system of white supremacy. It's just more sophisticated now. It's just another racism is a form of slavery. That's all it is. What is slavery? Slavery is mistreating people in a way and in a sophisticated form, if it's sophisticated slavery, that they don't know what to do about it. Slavery is nothing but a form of mistreatment. Subjugation and mistreatment. Domination, those two elements, and mistreatment. You dominate the person that you are mistreating, which means you dominate them in all of the areas of activity, including sex. And you also dominate them in the first area of activity, economics, how they use their time and energy. And in the second, education. So you tell a black person, you will announce to the world yourself that black schools are inferior, or that the education that black people are getting is an inferior education. Then you jump to labor, one of the areas of activity, and say, you're not educated, so therefore you can't work here. You don't have an education. Well, you don't have an education because you've already declared that the schools that you go to is inferior. You've already told the world that. So therefore you got an inferior education. So when you come and look for a job, you're not qualified for the job. You can't go into the labor market because your education is inferior, which means, by proxy, you're inferior in doing anything of constructive value. So now, you're going to have a baby. Now watch this now. You're going to have another baby, and you're not going to have a job because I'm not hiring you on a job without an education. And I'm going to see to it you don't have an education because I never straighten out the school system. I've been arguing about the school system, about who's black and who's white and who will go to what school and how much money you'll pay to go to school to get a so-called education. All right? Now you're going to have a baby on top of it without my authorization? I don't think so. So what I'll do, since you can't sustain yourself and support yourself and your baby, then I'm going to see to it you can't have no babies. Now how about them apples? And that's the correct thing for me to do, because I've cut you off from all resources where you can justify having a baby. Not only that, when it comes right down to it, as you get huffy about it, you can't even justify your existence. Because you're not supposed to be walking around on my planet with no education, don't have no job, and I'm not going to give you one, and I'm not going to allow you to make one for yourself. And you think you're going to have a baby on my planet, on my watch? No, I'm going to have to tailor, because that's what they're doing now. I call it racial population tailoring confusion. I've been calling it that for years. That's one of their 6 strategies. So they are tailoring the populations of the non-white people, because they're forcing them into an economic situation where they can only have so many babies. The white supremacists are correct about that. I mean, there are some people who run around in, I recently read something about some people in the Amazon, I believe, in what they call the jungle. I call it the forest. Mm-hmm. But they have babies all over the place. It's one right after another. And some of them die of what you call disease or natural causes and all like that.
Right.
But the females keep having them. But what do they have? Because the white supremacists allow them to have it, by the way. They too are under white supremacy. But on account of their primitive conditions, and that goes back thousands of years, and that's all they are used to, they can have unlimited babies because they're all going to be self-sustaining. That's the key. We're in an environment where the white supremacists will tell us, get an education and get a job, then they'll seal off the means by which you get either. And if a few black people seem to really want to get educated and don't give up on it, then what have they been doing in the last 15 or 20 years? They've been going up on what? The price of getting the education, knowing full well that your grandmother ain't got that kind of money, because that's who you're going to be dependent on. You're just out of high school. You're going to depend on your grandmother, your mother, your sister, and your father who's looking for a job and gave up on it because he can't get one. So now you get into a school and the tuition just keeps going up and up and up and up. When here in the Northwestern Hemisphere, there were a lot of black people who had dishwashing jobs but went to college. They were Pullman Porter's children who went to college. They weren't making a fortune, but they could at least get in some type of college. The white supremacists looked at that, say, we're getting too many educated black people here. How do we stop them from getting an education? Go up on the tuition. Hey, that's a no-brainer. We'll tell them in order to get, even walk in this classroom, I mean, hey, you got to be talking about at least $10,000 just to walk in here and sit down. You haven't even been taught anything yet. But just to walk in and sit down, that's $10,000 right off the top. You black people, if you got it, as your grandmother got it, she's scraping together her little change and pennies and got her little coins in the handkerchief just she's been saving from that maid job till she got bad feet and whatnot, and that hospital job she had. I mean, now she can't help you. Nobody can help you because we got it rigged so nobody can help you. So now you got to drop out and look for a job. And we don't have a job for you because you don't have an education. See how they got that thing rigged? I'm telling you, these people are the shrewdest people that the world has ever seen. The people of the Roman Empire would be applauding, I mean, saying, boy, I mean, hey, they outdid us. The white supremacist said, I can't maintain a system with black people being serious, so I'm going to redirect their seriousness, and I'm going to do it through something that they relate to best. I'm going to do it through a medium that they can relate to, and that is entertainment. So I'm going to twist and turn their entertainment in such a way that where it was anti-non-justice before, where they were trying to talk about justice and head in that direction, I'm going to redirect that whole machine right before their eyes, and since they are a primitive people, they won't even realize what I'm doing because it will all be fun, because I know how to package stuff that doesn't make sense so that it is fun. And I'll have them directing their entire existence to getting up in the morning and looking for something stupid to do. And they won't even know that they're looking for something stupid to do because they're just that stupid because I will have programmed them to be stupid. And from the late 1960s, after the death of Martin Luther King and the riots and the upheavals and all like this, and black people with their fist in there and all like that and trying to stumble and fumble and find their way and get focus, the white supremacists made a blueprint and put it into action. And that is, I'm going to have these people so confused, they don't even know what they started out to do. And by the late 1970s, they had just about completed it. And we've been on that ever since. And you mentioned something very important. They are more comfortable than ever. But see, it's like making gorillas comfortable in a cage, or monkeys, or pandas. You still got them in a cage, but they're comfortable. See, so give him some bling bling. It's like giving an animal a brand new car and training the animal to ride up and down the street in it. And then you stand back and point at the animal. Like one white man said in the late 1950s. He said he doesn't care what kind of car a Negro has. He said he's still a nigger. And when he rides by in a shiny car, to him, it's just a monkey in a car. White people built a car, put a monkey in it, trained the monkey to drive the car, so now you're looking at a monkey in a car. See, but black people don't see themselves that way. But this is how the white supremacists see us, and they are the ones who run our business. And we have to know that when they look at us, that's what they see. That's what they see. That's what they see. And at a subliminal level, what they see begins to spill over into our brains so that we, at a subliminal level, see each other that way. And indirectly see ourselves that way. And that's why here it is in the year 2008, we have no problem slaughtering each other and think it's fun. You can hear the 9mm popping in the night even as we speak. That's black people out there having fun, because that's what we're doing. F-U-N, that's what that comes under. That's entertainment. Killing each other. That's fun. That's almost the definition of black fun. If we're not doing that, we're not really having fun. If we're not doing harm to each other, saying something derogatory, and really, the crown and jewel, killing another black person, we're not really living. And we don't even know that that's our culture. And the white supremacists have very carefully engineered it. Now, this is very important to know in order to solve our problems. Because you say, well, now, knowing that, Fuller, what's the solution? One is very simple. Black people shouldn't even be in contact with each other unless they're talking about something constructive. That means the cell phone should be dead silent most of the time. Because you listen to the average black conversation, in this area of the world on a cell phone. And what do you hear? You don't hear anything that's necessary to be said. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons, that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book. The material did. They say that they better understood it. And I can understand that because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever. Well, Haiti is on the list of what's supposed to be. Haiti, the people who are called Haitians, predominantly are people who are classified as non-white, but they're not supposed to ever have anything under the system of white supremacy except punishment for being arrogant enough under Toussaint to think that you, with your military skills, can take us over or tell us what to do. So many a historian has said that the reason Haiti is in the shape that it's in now, and sort of like the head wagging people of the world, you might say, everybody kind of looks on them with great pity. It's because the white supremacists made that decision. We're going to make examples of you. Don't you ever think that you can have military force against me, us white supremacists of the world. And we're going to make a perennial example of you up until the point we decide that we're not going to make that example. But you're going to be in poverty. You're going to be pitiful. You're going to be beggars of the first order. You're going to be dislocated trying to find a place to go because you can't stand being where you are, because I'm going to see to it that where you are will never be anything until I decide that you're going to be something.
That's like putting a vice grip on somebody.
Yes, and that's, they're letting the dark people of the entire world know, hey, you want to get in my face, look at Haiti. That's what's going to happen to you.
It's going to happen.
Now get out of my face. You can be comfortable in a prison, which is what the white supremacists have made the world for people of color, a prison. They've made the entire planet a prison that they run. And what happens in a prison? You assign people their bunks, where they eat, where they're going to get their food, where they can be at any given time. You just can't be any place. You got to get, if you have color in your skin, you've got to get permission from those white people, not all white people I'm saying, but those white people who believe in white supremacy, they're the ones who are running things. So they tell a person, black, brown, red, yellow, beige, tan, anybody who has color in his or her skin, they say where you can be on this planet. They say, you can't come here. You can't go there. You better not cross that river. You didn't get my permission. Boy, girl, gal, you didn't get my permission. Get my permission before you cross that river, before you cross that ocean, before you come in my ocean, or before you violate my airspace. You better not borrow a plane or nothing like that and fly in my airspace without my permission. I tell you people of color where you can go. If you want to trade with somebody, even one of your cousins, on a distant island somewhere, you better get my permission before you take off, because I will stop you on the high seas. You're on my ocean. This is my ocean. I don't care where the ocean is. It's mine. You get my permission.